video. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Nelly Kalu, the project manager and host for today's event. And on behalf of our team, I want to welcome you all to our virtual fifth birthday party. This event is part of our Strive for Five campaign. So during the next hour, we'll thank you and celebrate the 5 years of our being a non-profit organization and of our growing strength within the international community. We'll also highlight 5 aspects of our work, and we'll ask you for your help in raising $500,000 between now and the end of 2025. So we're very excited you're here. So let's tell you a little bit about us for anyone here who doesn't know us yet. At CCIJ, we work to strengthen journalism and the democratic fabric of the places where we work in 3 distinct ways. First, the investigations we convene and lead, where we bring together visual, data, and investigative journalists and editors as equal partners to carry out ongoing investigations into key global issues, as intersectional as they may be in different parts of the world. The formal and informal mentorship and training that we organize is the second way we do this, particularly with journalists who might not have the opportunity to participate in global projects. And our third and final way is the advocacy that we do on behalf of and with journalists who work and live in very dangerous environments. And we'll tell you all about that today. So here's the order of things that you'll experience. We've put together a 3-minute video, and the genius behind this video is our marketing and partnerships manager, Fola Folayan, who you've already met. After which, our founder and executive director, Jeff Kelly Lowenstein, will introduce 4 members of our community from South Africa, Namibia, the United States, and Nigeria. They'll talk about different aspects of our work and community. Paul Schaefer, our board treasurer, will ask for your support, and please give it. And we'll celebrate together with a virtual birthday cake. This birthday cake has been designed by our metaverse designer, Serena Stelitano. Now, let me tell you, I will handle typing in the cake that gets the most requests, or 2. So you can suggest the birthday cakes you like in the chat. And it helps if you suggest one that you already like that someone else has suggested, something like that. So it gets more mentions, and then we can create that one. Or otherwise, express your individuality. That's why we're here. All right. So having told you this, it's a real quick hour, we promise, and we're going to try to keep it tight. So welcome once again. Let's enjoy this video. Okay, we're sorry about that. Just heard it. The video is muted. So the operator is just opposite me, so you might hear some feedback. Apologies, but she's working to get that fixed and put it back up. So until then, I'll invite Jeff to just um, say something about the video that's coming up while we're setting it up.
No problem. Thank you, Nelly. And thanks, Fola, for organizing your hard work organizing the week's events, including the video. We had a countdown to 5 online that Ajibola, Sotiris, Nelly, Fola, Nick, and Andy all participated in. Ajibola, Sotiris, and Nelly were online and X answering people's questions for an Ask Me Anything section. And then the video is the third piece of that. So if we're ready for it, we can go. If not, we can shift gears and we can just introduce the people. So are we good, or how are we doing with that, Fola? Okay. So we'll go back to the video, and Fola pulled it together with a Nigerian colleague. So thank you very much for your hard work on that, Fola.
5 years ago, the Center for Collaborative Investigative Journalism, CCIJ, was founded with a bold mission to bring together investigative journalists, data analysts, and visual storytellers from around the world to lay bare overlooked issues and shed light on the most pressing global challenges. Our global lottery investigation uncovered the stark realities of an industry that generates more than $300 billion annually. Raymond Joseph's courageous reporting in South Africa has made remarkable impact, sparking broad changes and the reclamation of tens of millions of dollars in ill-gotten gains. In Namibia, we revealed the heart-wrenching struggle of a country facing a dire sanitation crisis. Our three-part series, Not the Kind of Life a Human Being Should Live, brought international attention to the plight of those suffering and questioned the government's role in addressing these issues. In the Gambia, where water should be abundant, our investigation exposed a tragic irony: a water-rich country where access to safe water remains elusive. In Ethiopia's Tigray region, we uncovered harrowing accounts of weaponized rape, and in Eswatini, we revealed how the system is failing victims of gender-based violence, leaving many without the justice they deserve. But it's not just about crises. We've also highlighted Africa's triumphs, showing the world what can be learned from the continent's cradle of water reclamation. Across the globe, from Germany's boundless hate, where stopping hate speech across borders remains a challenge, to the hidden discrimination faced by those with dreadlocks, we've tackled difficult conversations head on. Our work has exposed religious sects turning a blind eye to child marriages in Zimbabwe, and how an encroaching desert is fueling Nigeria's farmer-herder crisis. We've also held a lens to democracy by investigating the controversy surrounding Nigeria's 2023 presidential election. Over the past 5 years, CCIJ has not only told stories, we've changed the way they're told. From innovative audience engagement in the metaverse to our Transparency Talks podcast and monthly virtual workshops that empower journalists around the globe, we are breaking new ground. The journalists with whom we've worked have taken what they've learned, done powerful work themselves, and led these trainings. Our journey has taken us to international stages where we've shared knowledge and earned accolades for our contributions to investigative journalism. As we look back on 5 years of impactful stories and groundbreaking achievements, we remain committed to our mission to collaborate, to investigate, and to make the world a more just and informed place.
Okay, well, no, thank you very much, Fola, for that video. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I just wanted to start by acknowledging our present and former team members, interns, and fellows. So can anybody who is a present or former team member, intern, or fellow, please signal that you are here?
Presente.
Presente.
I'm here.
Okay. So, second, can we acknowledge our colleagues and friends with whom we have collaborated? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to acknowledge our board members who have served and guided and helped us since our inception. Brand Houston, the board chair, Anton Harbour, vice chair, Cheryl W. Thompson, Moton Rayo Alaka, and Paul Schaefer for their guidance, wisdom, and insight. Thank you. I want to thank and acknowledge our funders who have provided much of the necessary resources: Open Society Foundations, National Endowment for Democracy, Hamilton Family Giving Foundation, Open Society Institute South Africa, Muckrock, Filecoin Foundation for the Decentralized Web, MacArthur Foundation, Fund for Investigative Journalism, Pulitzer Center, and Open Up as fiscal agent. Thank you. And anybody else who is here who are either individual donors or other parts of our community, we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. And finally, in addition to my family who is here, I wanted to acknowledge Dunreath, my beautiful wife, best friend, constant partner, coach, and supportive ear as we've gone through this journey the past 5 years. Thank you. Okay, so we are a wonderful international community. And so I was hoping just to get a sense of that, if people can just take 1 minute and write in the chat where you are from or where you work and are living. So can we just take a minute and drop that in the chat, please? Thank you. Oh, very nice, very nice. And Brej, I know, is from Zim. Yeah, John is in Canada. Sonia's in Namibia. Margaret's in Namibia. So you get a feel for our wonderful communities. So thank you for that. So as Nellie mentioned, what we're going to do now is to hear from 4 colleagues and friends who will speak to 5 aspects of our work. And in so doing, pardon me, we work to share what we've all built together with your support. I'll also spend a little bit of time talking about what we plan to do during the next 5 years. So I want to be clear both how grateful I am to Ray, to Sonia, to Yafa, and Haruna for taking time for their weekend to share with us today, and for the heart and commitment they've poured into our team, work, and community during the time that we've all known each other and worked together. And I also want to be clear that these speakers are 4 of many very special people in our community whose stories are both unique and representative. So we're showing a slice here, and there are many other slices and stories that we could tell and feature. And notice the slice connection to the cake. So if you haven't voted for the cake, there's still plenty of time. Okay, in the past year alone, we've made big strides and had significant impact with our use of AI and multiple stories led by Carolyn and Sotiris. We've had our most ambitious investigation yet in Nigeria and the growth of our West Africa hub, led by Ajibola. I know Shehu is here, who is part of the West Africa hub. Kunle is here. We've made progress with our trainings and Twitter spaces that Fola has led, with our project management that Nellie has developed, with people getting into graduate school. Ijoma is here, who is now in graduate school in Maryland. Haruna will speak. He's in Indiana, with our visual storytelling formats and styles with Jillian and Nick, and with our fact checking and copy editing from Sarah Baum and Betsy. So that's just within the past year. So now we'll turn it over to Ray. And so Ray will be speaking about the impact of the work and a little bit about our origin story. Ray and I first met in 2015, as he'll share. He's become a colleague and dear friend. The work that he has done exposing corruption in the South African lottery under tremendous duress has led to all kinds of changes and earned many, if not all, of South Africa's highest journalism honors. Ray was also the leader of our Southern Africa hub. He very much helped us build our culture. He brought us key people like Adi Ayal, our first data editor, Yushi Wang, our data visualization analysis expert, and his daughters Roxanne and Tasha, both of whom have made editorial and website contributions. So Ray will share a little bit about how we got started, the work that he's done during the past 8 years on our lottery investigation, and the impact it's had. Ray, over to you, and thank you so much. Please join me in welcoming Ray.
Hi, guys. I just put a timer on. So my name is Raymond Joseph, and I live in Cape Town, South Africa. I originally met Jeff back in 2015. And a conversation began then. It was around the time of the Panama Papers and transnational journalism, and something that was alien to many of us, different publications and journalists collaborating. It was quite alien to us at the time. And there were a group of us who were talking on email, coming up to the 2016 African Investigative Journalism Conference. It was called Power Reporting then. And one of the subjects that came up was the lottery. We were looking for a subject that would go across borders. And the lottery seemed to do the trick. And at the 2016 conference in Johannesburg, a group of us ended up in a room, sitting at those tiny student desks with a place where you could write. And Jeff, in his inevitable way, I don't know how he did it, but he went off and he came back with a few bottles of really good wine and a bunch of polystyrene cups. And that is really where the lottery began, but more importantly, that is where CCIJ began. That investigation spread across nations. It was Mali, it was Switzerland, it was South Africa, it was the United States. I'm not sure. Colombia was another one. And we got journalists on the ground working on the story. I constantly joked with Jeff at the time that the consequence of what we were doing was going to end up in an investigative journalism organization, ergo CCIJ, and it came to be. My main interest. I'm a data-driven. I work with data-driven journalism, and one of the key breakthroughs was when Adia Yell of Code for South Africa, which is now Open Up, took years and years, scraped years and years of grants that the National Lottery had given, and made it machine searchable using Tableau. We used the free version of Tableau. And it was literally like going into a pitch black cellar and turning on a spotlight. And for the first time, you could actually see what was going on there. The thing that excited me about CCIJ is how it was bringing together data, visual, investigative journalism. But I've been around a long time and I've worked widely across Africa. And one of the things that always bothered me about working in Africa was how locals were not telling their own stories on the international stage. Inevitably, when there was trouble, firemen would arrive in town with really no context. And when you don't have context, all you can do is go and cover the bang bang and what you are seeing. And we began getting together this network and telling stories that were being told completely different because it was in-country people. And I think where CCIJ has played such a critical part is it's fundraised for journalists to actually go out and do the stories properly, not skimp and save. If you needed a vehicle, you needed to get to places. There was also the editing support. There was the news editing support. Scott on the visual side, Yaffa with her fantastic editing. And all the time was Jeff in the background, just working away, doing the real donkey work. And I just want to say that without Jeff, there would be no CCIJ. Over the years, many of us have actually seen people come up with an idea and they say, we're going to do something. We're going to set up an organization. But ultimately, what it takes is someone to pick up the ball and run with it. And Jeff was that. And CCIJ is Jeff. Jeff is CCIJ. And I just want to acknowledge that. Thank you very much, guys. Sorry, just on the lottery, I'll be very brief. So once we started investigating the lottery, started discovering a trend, ultimately what we have discovered is billions of South African rands. There was a criminal enterprise which we exposed operating inside the lottery, run by the executive and the board. And money that was supposed to be going to good causes ended up buying cars, houses, farms, overseas holidays, the Special Investigating Unit, which is set up in South Africa, and their role is to recover money stolen through corruption. The 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 police and the other authorities have been slower, but it's picking up momentum. It's now very much on the public agenda. I'm in Parliament this week, listening yet again, where the Hawks, which is an investigating unit, the prosecuting authorities, the special investigating units are coming to Parliament to report on progress. And slowly but surely, the crooks have been painted into a corner. And I think that without the support of Jeff and CCIJ initially, and then Ground Up, which is a local news agency in South Africa, the story would have died a natural death. And if anything is an example of what coming together with CCIJ, with an organization like that, can do, the lottery investigation is it. So thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Ray. Thank you for your kind words. And Ray is a modest person, and he worked for years, often self-funded, under extreme escalating series of threats and harassment, sometimes from government agencies, sometimes from people benefiting from the lottery, and persisted and has won. A lot of things have happened. There's still more, and we won't know the total toll, but it was just a tremendous contribution to, example of journalism, but contribution to South African society and to our global investigative community. So thank you very much for that, Ray. And I just wanted to make sure also to welcome and acknowledge Andy Laren, who's our current editorial director. We'll hear from Yafu, who is our founding editorial director in a minute. Lasiba Machaka from South Africa, important member of our community. Paul Schaefer, our board member. Janae Aubrey, soon to join our family. She and Aiden have gotten engaged. Matt Kaufman, both a collaborator and a supporter of CCIJ. Pupil, one of our terrific fellows. Serena, our metaverse designer. Omalola and Sadiq, members of our West Africa hub. And Chandi, who's helping us with fundraising. So welcome to everybody. So now we're going to hear from Sonia. And Sonia Smith will speak about the mentorship and training that she's experienced from CCIJ. And I want to be clear that Sonia's both received editorial support and then also gone on to lead our trainings. And Sonia will also talk about our community. And Sonia and I, as you'll hear, is a real recurring theme. We met at the African Investigative Journalism Conference in 2019. We were just getting started. Sonia followed right up. She did an initial project, Dying for a Drop, and a story about workers in vineyards who didn't have access in Namibia to clean water, which won 2 national awards in 2021, made big impact. She won the highest award of Journalist of the Year. She also contributed to our community, promoting the work and asking for support on press freedom issues. She later spent a month with Freddie Clayton and Margaret Courtney Clark, who is on this call, in a project for which we helped them gain support from the Pulitzer Center, and that she leveraged her relationship with to publish a 3-part series in each of the country's leading newspapers that had immediate results. And that's one of the things that we like to do at CCIJ, is help journalists get republished very widely. And then on Thursday, again, Sonia, Freddie, and Margaret won Journalist of the Year and another national award for visual journalism. Please join us in welcoming Sonia. Thank you, Sonia.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. It's good evening on my side. It's 8 o'clock at night. My name is Sonia, as introduced by Jeff. I live in Windhoek, Namibia, and I am a Namibian journalist. I'm also a member of the CCIJ, who joined in October 2019. It's really an interesting the way that I met Jeff. I was invited to the African Investigative Journalism Conference in 2019, just as a regular journalist from Namibia. And at the hotel where I booked, that's Pretoria Hotel, I think in Braamfontein in Johannesburg. That's where I met Jeff, in the lobby, basically going to queue up for breakfast. I remember very well. And we sat at the table together, but unbeknownst to me, he was also in the journalism field, as well as two other colleagues, I think one from Nigeria and Mali. And then Jeff started talking about, this water project that an organization that he's part of was embarking on. And I told him that, I'm from Namibia, and the country, Namibia is a very dry country, and I would like to be involved. So it just happened like that. And I saw Jeff again the following day at the conference where we sat down and discussed, where he also advised me to say, you can send us a proposal and a pitch so that we look at it. And I did that as soon as I got back to Namibia, and it was accepted. That's when I did my first project called Dying for a Drop. Yeah, and it was a good story. I got mentored on that story by Raymond, who just spoke before me. My second project that I did with the CCIJ was the grape farms, where farm workers lived or continue to live a harsh life while vineyards are well watered and pampered. One of those project that I've also worked for the CCIJ is a story that was produced last year in collaboration with two of my colleagues, Margaret, that is also on here, and Freddie. I'm not sure if he's here, but we partnered up on that story when Freddie flew in Windhoek around November 2022. So that project was published last year. It's that story, Grape Farms. They both won, obviously, awards in Namibia. And they had, in terms of impact, it came up, saying that they vowed to take actions just 2 weeks after the CCIJ. They are busy now, constructing toilets for the communities that are affected. In terms of mentorship, I received Jay as our head of the Southern African Hub. He was my mentor and the editor leaded me on the required, especially with COVID as well. But project that I did with the CCIJ, the grapes, and they both won awards in Namibia. One, it's the 2021. We won the Journalist of the Year as well as the Best Agriculture and Environment category. Both of these, quality work that are recognized in my country, Namibia, as well as on Thursday night, which was just a day before yesterday, we won the Best Journalist of the Year again. This is for the sanitation crisis investigation with the two colleagues. I'm not recognized just because I'm Namibian. I'm not recognized solely, but my colleagues are also were mentioned, and the CCIJ were also mentioned at the ceremony. This is really a recognition of the hard work we all put in. And also, in terms of mentorship, I would also like to mention that Yafa, our editorial director, as well as our African editor, Ajibola, they played a very big role, especially on the last project that was produced last year. I remember as we had so many information because we traveled the northern of Namibia, the west, and as well as the center. And the information, the interviews were so many, and we were basically confused on how to approach the stories. And they advised us that, I think, the investigation has actually been split in 3 parts, which worked out very well. And also, I believe that it was an excellent approach to having the story published in that way. So I am probably one of the journalists or a member of the CCIJ that is really proud of being part of this community. Because in my country, I'm a freelance journalist. I'm not in full time. I left about 5 years ago, so I am used to working on my own, self-supervising. So when you have mentorship with and working with people like Yafa, Ajibola, and Raymond at the time, who are really, people that are well experienced and know how to guide, up and coming young reporters. I'm really grateful, and I continue to acknowledge them throughout my journey. I also, thank Freddie and Margaret, a brilliant and excellent photographer who has an extensive experience in that field, in helping, the pull of the projects that we do. And, especially more about the two projects that I did, the Grapes and the Scott Lewis, our creative director, and the whole team, especially the projects of the sanitation crisis, that I think it really had, the team was so big that we had, everybody had a role in playing that. So the awards that are won, it's not just the three of us whose name are on that story. I believe that it belongs to the CCIJ and everybody that is part of the community. In August, in terms of providing mentorship myself after having grown, Yafa and I, in August 2021, Yafa, I can't remember, but I think it's in August 2021, alongside Yafa, we hosted a workshop on how to write a winning grant proposal, whereby we also showcased the do's and don'ts about how to go about or learning how to actually pitch a story and win a journalism a grant proposal. It was well attended, and it also helped other journalists around the world in learning of with the CCIJ with the first project in 2019. What else can I say? I'm really proud to be part of this team. And I continue to work with people that are a model of journalism excellence. CCIJ has helped me, I would say, having done work only in Namibia to international projects has made me, it has really spread my wings. I've seen that someone told me that if I Google your name, things pops up, not just in Namibia, but your stories are covered or they appear in the Daily Maverick, that's South Africa. They are seen all over, and it really excites me to see that. And I know it's because of the CCIJ and the connection that I have with the organization. Happy birthday to this wonderful organization that has made us grown and made us excellent reporters. Jeff, you continue to be, I don't know what to say, your encouragement, your faith and belief in all of us, I think it can only be measured by the goodness of your heart. And to all the editors that are involved in this organization doing excellent work, I just want to say thank you. And I continue to be part of this organization, and I want to do more work, and I want to contribute more in whatever ways I can. Thank you so much. I
Thank you,
can say all the
Sonia.
nice things. I cannot stop talking, but I'm really, really grateful to be part of this team and all of you. And I'm so excited about especially the Thursday wins. I was just screaming. I was like, I can't believe it, but it happened, and it's for all of us. Thank you.
All right. No, thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Raymond.
Sonia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for the kind words and for all your contributions to our community, and kind of moving very seamlessly over to Yafa, who Sonia just mentioned, provided such terrific mentorship, and they presented together. Yafa has been with us since the beginning of the Lottery Project. She was our series editor for the Lottery Project. She's our founding editorial director. She helped us establish and maintain our standards. She's made many other contributions. She's a fantastic fundraiser. She's helped us connect with fellows, with interns through the Albright Institute at Wellesley College, which she participated in and stayed very involved in. They've been interns the past 2 years, reporters with whom we've worked like Lucy Casa of Ethiopia, and editors like Melissa Matani and Jessica Cha. So Yafa will share about the team that she has played such a critical role in building. Yes, Yafa, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Jeff. And thank you, Sonia and Ray. It's so nice to see and hear your voices again. So I'll go back to the beginning. When Jeff asked me to embark on this wild adventure with him 5 years ago, he made 2 promises. One, we would always do the important collaborative investigative work we loved, and 2, we might never know what our financial future would bring. He's kept both of those promises more or less. And over the course of these 5 years, I've worked with Jeff to fulfill a 3rd promise I made way back when, which was to help build a team of reporters, editors, designers, social media extraordinaires, project managers who truly embody the core values you've been hearing about today: reaching beyond borders, holding the powerful to account, giving voice to the voiceless. The thing about investigative work is you can't really do it alone, at least not particularly well. But in the early days of CCIJ, I'll admit we struggled to figure out how to do it all together, to transcend the time zone differences, the cultural nuances, the stylistic differences in journalism, to tell stories that really broke that new and vital ground. With a team based primarily at the time in the US, Canada, and South Africa, we endeavored to commission stories from young reporters and most of the time just get them over the finish line. When we could, we did consider visuals and data, but in many ways we prioritized that early text. We realized that to fulfill our vision of telling stories through words, visuals, and data, we needed to prioritize all 3 pillars. And that's where our visual and data editors like Scott and Adi in those early days could be partners in achieving that vision. We also realized that we needed someone to manage the process of bringing these complex stories with editors and reporters in multiple countries together. So we brought on our first project manager, Esther, Nelly's predecessor, who helped us set deadlines, set up meetings, keep the trains running on time. And as we approached publication, we recognized how important it was to have a designer with a keen eye for visuals and user experience to bring our stories to life on digital platforms. So we brought on Jillian, who's still with us today. And when those stories were published, we knew we needed a second set of hands to create social media campaigns and run republication efforts. So we conceived of a new position just for that. Enter Fola. And we've grown. And with such a strong emphasis today on the African continent, we've also prioritized onboarding editors, reporters, and staff on the continent, folks who know far better the wants, needs, and aspirations of the people we write about. And from there, we've added interns, fellows, an Africa editor, several project editors, a metaverse designer, fundraisers, you name it. I share this all today to say it hasn't always been a well-paved road. We've hit more than one roadblock along the way, but each time we've really paused to consider the obstacle and to identify what team member we might have or we might need to move past it. And with each team member we add to the small, but I'll say increasingly mighty nonprofit, we articulate those same core values that took 8 people struggling to find a monthly meeting time 5 years ago to a group nearly twice that size, struggling to keep pace with the number of opportunities we now have to explore. Like Jeff, that promise I made 5 years ago is one I'd like to say I've largely kept. But the thing I didn't realize when I made it was how much each of these team members would change my life for the better, how they changed the way I see and approach visual storytelling, how they'd make me push beyond investigative boundaries I didn't even know I had, and how they would support me through the trickiest edits and the thorniest legal reviews. And they would do this all because, like me, and likely all of you, they believe in the importance of the work CCIJ does and will continue to do. So happy birthday, and thanks, Jeff, again for taking me on this wild ride.
Thank you. Thank you, Yafa. Really lovely. Thank you, and thank you for all of the contributions and heart. I just wanted to make sure to welcome Grace and Winston, Mr. Wale from Malawi, who is a contributor, a colleague. He's our podcast host. He runs Africa Brief, which is a tremendous news agency and publishes all of our work among many others. So we're very glad that Winston is here. He's a real connector in our community. Hear from Haruna Muhammad. Haruna is a very brave journalist who found access to accurate information. He built a team along with support from Ajibola Amzad, our Africa editor and the co-publisher of WikiTimes. He has persisted in the threat in the face of arrests, lawsuits, and a series of escalating threats that ultimately led him to take the very difficult and painful decision to leave his country and go into exile. And we've worked together with others like the Committee to Protect Journalists and Haruna to advocate for him and other journalists working and living in very dangerous parts of the world to get him to safety and to chart the next stage of his personal and professional journey. Haruna,
Thank you so
over to
much,
you, please.
Jeff. Thank you. It seems everybody has met you in South Africa. Yeah, so like Sonia and Ray, I also met Jeff in South Africa in 2022 during the AIJC. However, I think unlike them, I was introduced to Jeff by Ajibola Amzat, who is, of course, the Africa editor of the CCIJ. So, Jeff, congratulations to you and the entire team at the CCIJ. I've often remarked that it is very difficult to establish a news organization during a time of immense challenges many media outlets worldwide continue to face. So it's no small feat really to start an organization and within just 5 years grow it to such level. I think it takes someone like Jeff to be able to do this. So thank you again, Jeff, and happy birthday to the CCIJ family. So for me, the CCIJ is really more than an organization for us in Africa. I've mentioned this to a number of people. I know that the CCIJ is truly a dependable ally, one that is ready to stand for justice, to stand for press freedom, to stand for the truth. And for people like me, that is what CCIJ represents. So if there is any one word that I would describe CCIJ within these 5 years, that word would be advocacy, because it has shown that it's a lifeline advocate for the kind of work we do, which is very, very difficult and which has often landed people like me into troubles, into a lot of lawsuits and all of that. So as far as I am concerned, the advocacy the CCIJ has done for people like me has shown to us that we are not alone as far as the consequences of our journalism work is concerned. I have told this to many people that when a journalist is arrested or is going through difficulties, the least that journalist would expect from his colleague is to show solidarity, to solidarize with that person, because usually it comes with a lot of difficulties, psychologically, physically, mentally. It's a complete exhaustion whenever you are threatened, whenever you are arrested. So I remember when I was arrested covering the 2023 elections in Bauchi, the CCIJ did not only put up a statement condemning my arrest, but I know how Jeff and Ajibola coordinated to touch base with CPJ, to touch base with a lot of newsrooms within Nigeria and beyond to ensure that my case gets the attention it deserved. So CCIJ is not an organization that will just put up a statement and then go home and sleep. That is not Jeff, that is not Ajibola. I can say this authoritatively, and that is why I am always proud, knowing these guys, associating with them and doing this difficult work with them. So that is what the CCIJ stands for, as far as I am concerned. That advocacy is so unique. It's so, because when statements are put up and then the coordinations are done, I think for me, it's just more than an advocacy. We are subliminally telling the powerful people that, look, this guy is not alone. He has people behind him. He has people that are ready to go all out in solidarity, all out in naming and shaming, because that is fundamentally important. Sometimes the advocacy is also telling these guys that, look, we will not allow this guy to suffer in your hands alone. We know what he is doing. We are with him. And whether you guys release him or not, some of the things you are trying to hide will eventually go out. I think in a way, it sends a very good signal to these people that keep harassing journalists that look, these guys have really a community that is ready to stand for them. And for me, this is what CCIJ represents. And I also recall when Damilola was arrested, Damilola Ayeni, who is the editor of the Foundations for Investigative Journalism, who was picked up in Benin Republic. I recall how Jeff and Ajibola also coordinated with a lot of organizations, touching base and putting pressure. I remember how they also touch base with organizations like Senozo, within the Francophone region, and a host of other newsrooms within and outside Nigeria. So this coordination is really unique. And for me, it takes organizations like the CCIJ to be able to get something like this done. So Jeff, I congratulate you. I congratulate your entire team. And I want to remind you that it's not over. It's just started. So if I am to borrow from Kamala Harris, I know CCIJ, unlike Kamala Harris, is not conceding, right? So we are not only conceding, we don't want to concede, and the fight will continue. So we will continue to fight, we will continue to solidarize with each other, because that is very, very instructive. That is very, very important. I mean, it helps in very, very many ways. So thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you for remaining consistent in touching base with me, with a lot of other journalists who are facing the kind of challenges I continue to face. And happy birthday. And like I mentioned to you, my knife is already here. I'm very much ready to cut the cake. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you, Haruna. Thank you very much, and thank you for your warm acknowledgement of everything that the team and our community is. So we're just about to turn to Paul Schaefer, our board treasurer. I just wanted to share briefly where we plan to go in the next 5 years. We will have the same collaborative framework. We will do more with AI. Sotiris and Yushi, Carolyn really have led us. We'll continue to go in there. We will experiment with different storytelling methods and audiences to reach people where they are. Podcasts, more on social, local languages, shorter, more iterative pieces. We will work to have official presences in other parts of the world, starting with Africa and Europe, and we will bring in a new generation of leadership. So you've heard where we came from, what we've done, where we're going, and so now it's my pleasure to turn it over to our board treasurer, Paul Schaefer. Paul, thank you so much, and over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Those stories were, as always, very compelling, really amazing to hear from the work from the journalists that we support. It's been a 5-year journey for me with Jeff. As many of you know, he's a force of nature. He's put together such a great team, both internally and of journalists. I think we should take a minute just to acknowledge Jeff's great work. Jeff, really fantastic job. I would also say that Jeff is very frugal, and all the money that he has raised, as I used to work in Hollywood, we used to say all the money ended up on the screen. And with Jeff, all the money ends up on the screen, or as it be the page. So anyone who's contributed should feel good. We spend very low amounts on admin. We all know investigative journalism continues to struggle and get less and less support from various mainstream media, and really needs support from other sources to be successful. And so again, for those of you who have contributed, I really want to thank you. You've made 5 years tremendously successful. And for those of you who have contributed or are thinking of contributing, now's a great time to contribute because, and I'll let Jeff talk about this, any funds that are contributed between now and the end of the year are matched, and they will help support our work going into the new year where we have a lot of exciting plans. So I get the job to say, we need your money. Hope you'll be able to help us out between now and the end of the year and continue your support of CCIJ. There are. Jeff, did I leave anything
Fine.
out?
The link is there. I would just share that no amount is too small, that if we get 50 new donors, we get another bonus through the news match. Thanks to our generous support from different supporters individually and foundations, every donation that you make will both be matched through news match, but then also will be matched from another source. So it's triple the donation. So please, whatever you can do, we welcome it. And thank you very much. So no, thanks very much for that.
Point. We've been very successful. Jeff has been very successful in raising money from foundations. But one of the things foundations want to see is, are you diversifying your support? Do you have individuals who are supporting and other foundations? And while we're very aggressive on the foundations, we need your help at the individual level, even a small donation, so that we can show that we have a diversified funding base. And as Jeff said, many of those gifts are matched by either Newsmatch or other institutions.
Yeah, no, so thank you very much. So thank you for that, Paul. And I do want to be mindful of the time. So what I would say is that before we go to celebrate and have a birthday cake and under the theme of a slice, we just want to show 90 seconds of a powerful and emotive slideshow. There's a celebration of photography that visual editor Nick Botma has put together during the past 2 weeks. It was the first of 5 stories that he's edited since coming aboard last year. It tells the story of the experience and the discrimination many people with dreadlocks experience in Uganda. Edited by Carolyn Thompson, it's one of the stories for which we received support from the National Endowment for Democracy. It included a survey from our data team that Sotiris Sideris designed, that journalist Arthur Wadero translated into local languages. It made impact in the country and was named one of the top 10 investigations in sub-Saharan Africa by the Global Investigative Journalism Network. And it also captures that balance that we seek to strike between exposing problems, identifying solutions, and as Ray said at the beginning of this meeting, having people from the place where they live tell their stories with residents, having agency, and demonstrating a lot of resilience under challenging circumstances. So we'll just watch that video, and then if anybody needs to leave, of course, can leave, but we will give the link to migrate to have the cake. So Fola, can you please play the video? Okay, no, thank you. Thank you for that, Nick. Thank you. And I think you could see that hair flying, that same commitment that Haruna was articulating at the end of his comments, not giving up. So no, keep going. So no, thank you so much for that. Nellie, do we have a winner for the cake type or cake types?
So it's not a competition. What I did instead was I created the 3 cakes that were nominated or suggested. So we had a plan to give you this link to create your own cakes, but unfortunately, we're a bit worried that the technology might not work. So I'm going to share, like, we don't have the time for it. So I'm going to share this. That's the link if you want to create the cake yourself. But Jeff, you buy me time saying nice things while I upload the images of the 3 cakes that we have.
I say, okay. Well, yeah, I'm happy to say that I'm very grateful to everybody for making the time. It's just incredible to hear all the different impact and stories and community that we've all built together. And so I'm just extremely grateful to everybody for your work in that. So thank you.
Okay, so we're almost there. So here are 3 cakes, a red velvet with sprinkles, carrot cake, and a German chocolate cake.
Oh, I see them. Okay.
So,
Okay, they're in the chat.
can you see them? Yeah, they're in the chat, please.
All right.
Go
all
there,
right.
yeah.
Well,
So how the link works really quickly is you click on it, you type what kind of image you want, and all credit goes to Serena, by the way. So
Yes.
she's our metaverse designer who came up with this idea, and you type whatever image you want, and in this case a cake, and you create it.
Okay, so thank you, Nelly, and thank you, Serena, and thank you everybody for voting. So please, Haruna, I know you have a knife, but whoever would like to stay and chat and eat some cake, wonderful. Whoever needs to go, of course, please feel free. But thank you all so much for coming. It's wonderful to be here. I'm really proud of what you have all done and what we've built together. I'm very excited for what we'll do going forward. So thank you. Please feel free to go, but also feel welcome to stay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, CCIJ.
Okay, Nelly.
Happy birthday, everyone. And congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys,
Thank you.
bye guys, bye
Bye.
guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Terrific meeting.
Thank you.
Guys, cheers. Thank you.
Ray, thank you.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
John, good to
Happy
see you
birthday,
looking
everyone.
well, friend.
Thank
Take care.
you. Thank you, Matt. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, Martin Ryo.
Thank
Martin
you
Ryo,
for all the
board
good.
member. Thank you. Thank you, Martin Ryo. Sorry, didn't see you.
Good to see everyone.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you, Ray. Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Good to see
Martin
everyone.
Ryo. All right,
Congrats,
see you.
everyone.
Thank
Guys.
you. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Great event.
Thank you.
Loved it.
Bye, Bud. Bye, Janae. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well done, Dad. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, this is where I speak.
Okay.
The
How are you? How are
invisible
you?
person. Thank you, everyone. It was fun, right?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Ajibola,
Thank
is
you
this your
very much,
daughter?
Paul.
Yeah, this is my daughter.
Hey, very nice to meet you.
It's nice
Hey,
to
your
meet you.
father is very proud of you. He is always talking about you.
Oh, this is so sweet.
Yes. And what is your name?
Mokwe.
Okay, very nice to meet you.
Oh, Mokwelola, nice to meet you.
Yes, and you have an excellent mother and father, but I'm sure you know that.
Yes, I do.
Mokwelola, I hope you are training to be a journalist.
It's part of the plan, but not what I'm focused on.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that.
Wonderful. No, thanks
Yeah,
everybody. That was great. Thank you
nice.
very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you. Thanks for everything.
Bye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Thanks, everybody.